There is no doubt that Sir Basil Cathedral is the icon of Moscow. We see it on TV and the movies, in travel magazines, or as decorative imagery on as souvenirs that a friend has brought back from the Russian capital. And yet, what do we know about her?
This was, at last, the question I asked myself when I found myself in front of its beautiful domes. I had seen them so many times that I was completely familiar with them. But as for the cathedral, I had hundreds of questions. This important temple is shrouded in a multitude of mysteries and curiosities. Let's get to know some of them.
Saint Basil's Cathedral was ordered to be built by Ivan the Terrible in 1554, in obedience to a promise he had made years before. He would erect a temple in the center of Moscow if he managed to conquer the Kazan Khanate. The cathedral was consecrated on July 12, 1561, although it was later enlarged several times.
Actually, the cathedral is composed of nine separate chapters, dedicated to each to the saint of whose fast day Ivan the Terrible won a battle. With the construction of the central tower, the wall appears unified.
According to legend, Ivan the Terrible was so amazing with the final result that he ordered his chief architect, Bonis Yakovlev, to evaluate so that he could never reproduce anything like it. The veracity of the statement seems rare uniquely since Yakovlev appears in the church glass as the builder of the other churches, as well as the King's Kremlin. Although there might have been other architects with a similar name.
And there is also controversy about the name of the architect. Yakovlev was better known as Barma, which in recent means Strammered. It has not been possible to clarify whether it was nickname, or Barma actually his name and Poznik, the fasting one, his nickname.
To further complicate the story, certain studies insist that, like part of the Kremlin, the cathedral was actually built by Italian architects invited by the Tsar.
Its original name was the Cathedral of the Virgin's Mantle, as it was blessed on October 1st, the date on which that feast is celebrated.
So, where does the name San Basilian's Cathedral come from? Basil was a madman for Christ, a highly respected figure in Russia, who walked around naked and barefoot, living on charity, and was believed to perform miracles. It is said that Basil the Blessed was the only person Ivan the Terrible feared, and so Ivan himself had him buried in the Church of the Holy Trinity in 1588. Tsar Fyodor Ivanovich moved his remains to the Cathedral of the Virgin's Mantle, and over his tomb built a new chapel. That is why today the whole complex is known by the name of this saint.
The cathedral, which celebrates 450th anniversary this year, has been of the verge disappearing several times. It has survived files, Napoleon's troops, used it as a stable, and even demolition plan by Styles collaborators. We believe that Saint Basil's did not leave enough space for parades.
Reading the previous point, there is a very curious anecdote. It is said that the person in charge of the general plan for the remodeling of Moscow, Lazarus Kanovich, went to Slang with a model of the Rain Square in his hand and started its demolition by abruptly removing removing the cathedral from its place, ceilings, and always was blown Lazarus, putting in its place.
What else does this temple remind of us of? Of course, of the game Tetris. Who doesn't remember its chilly melody? Tetris was created in 1984 by the Russian computer engineer Alexei Pasinov, and St. Basil's Cathedral always opens the game with the image of its characteristic stones. We have always loved the scenes we were little.
In 2021, the national project Tourism and Hospitality was developed and partially implemented. It involves increasing the number of trips to Russia from 65 million to 140 million annually by 2030, as well as ensuring the country's economy growth through the multiplier effects of the tourism industry.
Talking a little about Russian women's clothing, the main part of the wardrobe was the sarafan, a long dress. Head and hair decorations were also part of the common clothing in the kokoshnik. Kaftans are made of expensive textiles with many embroidered and decorations. Kaftans could be compared to today's coats, since they are worn over other garments. Finally, we have the balinki, traditional Russian winter footwear, which consists of wool felt boots.